have a resolution, or are we?
I think we're going to proceed with trial.
Trial, okay. All right, so what we'll do is we'll get everybody sworn in, and everybody who's going to testify will get you sworn in, and we'll get everybody's name for the record, and then we'll start with the plaintiffs. Start first, then it's get to respond, and then I finish with the plaintiffs. All right, so I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here today on a painful behalf of my brothers, Mr. Rodney Williams, and the reason we're here today of non-payment for rent, which is almost a year and a half or 2 years. I am the elder brother. My mother, who was our pastor, and then I became my mother's pastor. And to the plaintiff, I looked after them as a big brother should. I found work for them. On the day of my mother passing, 2016, I asked them to pay $200 a month to maintain the properties. And, you know, they had time to save money to do whatever, at which time they stopped paying. Communication broke down. You know, I reached out to them several times. I noticed the plaintiff mentioned about on around 2013 that he claimed that there was no verbal or rental agreement, which it was a verbal agreement. And he says here at 2013, a year after he moved in, he stayed with my mother. My mother passed at 2016-16 at 12:02. At which time Mr. Williams, Robert, my brother next to me, I asked them to stay here to pay $200. Prior to that, my mother passed. We had to do a foreclosure on one of the properties, which we had to disperse the monies, a quick sale, and they had monies to do whatever.
Objection, Your Honor.
And
Your Honor, objection, irrelevant information.
All right.
Yep.
And so, but anyway, my mother passed 2016, and that was the verbal agreement we made. Then, when I saw that things was going bad, I issued them a rental agreement to sign by certified letter. They failed to want to do that. Then, at which time I talked with them several times. You know, what's going on in your life? What's the problem? At $200, what's going on? No response. Communication breakdown. So finally, I sent them a 3-day notice to quit, and we're under oath. And here, the plaintiff says that he moved in with my mother. I mean, he was there in 2013, at which time there was no such agreement made because my mother was living at that time. And so, but the bottom line is, Your Honor, is I'm here today I want to get some closure on this nightmare, and I think it's time for them to move forward in life. They're grown men. They could have called me at any time. Let's talk. Let's see what's going on. My baby brother Rodney, Mr. Rodney Williams, moved in, and no one told me about it. I didn't mind him moving in, but let me know what's going on. I had to find out a month or so later. And so it's been sort of like the Hatfield and McCoy, and it tells a lot about the character of what I'm dealing with. Now, the property taxes, water, sewer bill has not been paid, has not even, and these things have to be maintained. In order for me to maintain the property as the overseer, and so I'm just at a loss. I don't know what else to say, but this is why I'm here today. And all I ever asked them was to, keep their part of it. And about the roof, that was a non-issue. Was about the roof. I had, when I saw that they wasn't going to contribute, which I said I'm not going to, do the roof. I had a guy come out and inspect the roof, gave me how much would it cost, and would I qualify for a small home loan. And I'm so glad I didn't, because I would have been stuck with the monthly payments. And the roof is not that bad, there's a couple of repairs here and there, but I'm glad I didn't, Your Honor, because I would have been stuck. So they brought me in. So it's $200 to help maintain. That's all I can do. Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. Okay, any questions?
Yes, just one question. Mr. Taylor, are you a lawyer?
He that represents himself has a fool for a client, but I'm not a fool. I'm just sticking with the facts, and that's all I can do.
Okay, So you aren't an attorney.
No, I'm not an attorney, but I you know, like I say, I'm with the facts. That's all I can present. This is why I'm here.
No further questions.
Okay. Any further presentation by the plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am. I want to, you know, just to show you a little character. I didn't want to go there that deep, but I'm going to tell you, Your Honor, I was there to the end for my mother, and a mother knows the codes of her children. You know, she tells me this, she tells me that. My mother was abused, disrespected. I'm not mama. It don't matter.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, irrelevant.
It's true.
Okay, but anyway, I'm not mom, and I'm not going to go through what she went through. And this is what it is.
Okay.
I'm done now. That's all I have to say, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any presentation by the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Let's start with Robert. Okay. Robert, please state your full name for the record.
Rodney Williams, Jr.
And where do you live?
731 Castleman Drive, West Sacramento.
Your Honor, I request that the court take judicial notice of
Grant deed. Okay. The court will take judicial notice of the grant deed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, I move the document marked as Defendant's Exhibit 1 into evidence.
So admitted.
Okay. And so, Robert, according to this document, who owns the property that you live at?
Lower L. Taylor?
Is it Lowell L. Taylor or is it the trust, family trust?
Yes, it's the house is family trust.
Okay. And I'm going to be showing you a second document. Robert, do you recognize this document?
Yes, that's not family trust.
Okay. And how do you know that it's a family trust? You can look at the pages if you need to.
Yes, it's it says right in front there. Lower L. Taylor and Ellen T. Taylor family grantor. They were both in trust.
Okay. Who is the trustee for this trust?
Mr. Taylor.
Okay. And who are the beneficiaries on this trust?
That would be myself and brothers. Yes, as a beneficiary.
Okay. Do you know the names of the beneficiaries? If not, you can check the trust document.
Yes, I'm sorry, Carlos Taylor as trustee, Robert Williams as a beneficiary, Michael Williams, Maurice Williams, Marcel Williams, Rodney Williams, and grandkids of my mother all of us on the.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, I move to admit the document marked as Defendant's Exhibit 2 into evidence.
So admitted.
And when did you first move into this home?
I'd say it was about 10 years ago.
Okay. At that time, did you sign a written lease agreement where you offered to pay money in exchange for living at the home?
No.
Did you enter into an oral agreement where you offered to pay money in exchange for living at the home?
No, I didn't.
Have you ever agreed to pay money specifically in exchange for living at the home?
No.
Did you ever receive a notice and change in terms of tenancy, like a notice of rent increase or a notice, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Defendant's Exhibit 3 is plaintiff's verified complaint in this matter. So this is the return receipt that was attached to Exhibit 1 of plaintiff's complaint, which was the unsigned lease agreement. And did you ever receive that unsigned lease agreement in the mail?
No.
And this return receipt, did you ever sign that?
No, I didn't.
Are either of these signatures your signature?
No.
Okay. Last document is defendant's verified answer in this matter.
Court takes judicial notice.
And I move to admit it into evidence.
So admitted.
Okay. Robert, please turn to the last page of this document. I'm showing you the signature page on the verified answer. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And does that match the signature that we just looked at?
No.
Okay. So you can put it back and forth. Robert, did you ever agree to pay any money to Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
And when was that?
Yes, I think several years ago.
Okay. What was that? Oh, go ahead.
You're gonna ask me.
Yeah. What was the money for?
For building maintenance.
Okay. Anything in particular? Was it general building maintenance or was it one specific thing?
It was one specific thing. That was the roof.
Okay. And what were the terms of the agreement?
When we got enough, I guess we would, get a new roof on the house.
Okay. So to clarify, the plan was to pay Carlos Taylor a little bit of money each month for him to save up to pay for the needed roof repairs.
Yes.
Okay. About how much money were you supposed to pay?
I think like $200.
$200 a month. Okay. And so did you ever pay pursuant to this side agreement?
Of the
roof agreement, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
For about how long did you pay?
I think probably 3 years or so. Hold on.
Okay.
I have to redraw, exactly.
And then did you stop paying pursuant to this side agreement?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Around when was that?
Gosh, I can't remember the dates. But I did stop. And I think one of the dates on that, though, but I did.
According to Plaintiff's verified complaint, he's alleging that you stopped paying around June 2022. Does that sound right to you?
Yes, I think I did.
Okay. And why did you stop paying pursuant to this side agreement about the roof?
Well, we never got a roof on that. Just I thought it was very important, so stopped paying.
So you specifically stopped paying because you lost faith that your brother was going to pay for the roof?
Yeah, we were kind of disappointed. It didn't happen.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that made you realize, oh wait, he's not going to use this money to repair the roof?
Well, I think there was some. He may have had some other construction going on someplace else.
Okay.
I'm not sure why.
Okay. No further questions for Robert at this time.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Robert?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I objected about paying the roof. As you can see in the evidence, well, he agreed after my mother passed to pay $200 a month to maintain, and their part was to pay the water and sewer. We have the homeowner insurance, the property.
So I'm going to stop you. This is your time to ask a question,
Oh, I'm
Robert.
sorry.
I will let you sum it all up at the end.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you have a question for Robert, go ahead. If not,
Yes, the question is, you mentioned about on when you were served, they didn't sign it, but he did sign one. Is that right? One of the certified receipt when we had the server come by to serve you, you signed for it.
that's what we did.
I mean the 3-day notice. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't sign it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. No other questions. Okay.
Okay. I would like to call Rodney Williams to the table. Okay. Please state your full name for the record.
My name is Rodney Williams.
And when did you first move into the home?
I moved into the home April the 12th, 2021.
Okay. At that time, did you sign a written lease agreement where you offered to pay money in exchange for living in the home?
No.
And at that time, did you enter into an oral agreement where you agreed to pay money in exchange for living at the home?
No.
Okay. Did you ever enter into any agreement where you agreed to pay money specifically in exchange for living in the home?
No.
Did you ever receive a notice of rent increase
No.
or a notice of change in terms of tenancy?
No.
Okay. I'm going to turn everybody's attention back to the complaint. So that's Defendant's Exhibit 3, specifically the last page. Ronnie, did you ever receive an unsigned lease agreement from your brother?
No.
And this is the return receipt attached to that unsigned lease agreement. Are either of those signatures your signature?
No.
And I'm going to show you your answer, defendant's verified answer, which is marked as Defendant's Exhibit 4. Turning to the last page, is this your signature?
Yes.
And similar to what I asked Robert, did you ever agree to pay any money to your brother, Carlos Taylor?
Yes.
And what was that for?
It was to go toward putting a roof on the house and maintenance.
Was it for anything else, or was it specific to the roof?
Specific to the roof.
Okay. Did you ever pay pursuant to that side agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Did you stop paying?
Yes.
Why did you stop paying?
Because there was no roof there was no roof being put on there.
Was there anything in particular that made you feel like he was not going to put a roof or replace the roof?
I was having a lot of hunches that the roof wasn't going to be put on there.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Did you have any questions for him?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to ask Mr. Rodney Williams, did we not have a conversation when you moved in on 2022 around March? I think it was when I found out a month later that you moved in. You said that you was moved in on the 2021. But isn't it the fact that you moved in when I found out a month later? And did we have conversations about paying your dues?
We had a conversation about putting money into the trust to put a roof on the house. Because each time when I gave you the money, you said it was going to the trust.
Okay, let me ask you this. What year did you move in when I found out a month later that you was living on the property before I found out?
That was 2021, of April the 12th.
No. This was 23 now. 2023. You moved in 2022.
So when I moved there 2021.
No.
April.
No.
All right, he's answered.
Yes, ma'am.
I have the paperwork.
So
Just questions right now,
Yes, ma'am.
and then I'll let you.
yes,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further?
No further questions.
Okay. Anything further in the defense?
Nothing further this time. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So at this time now, it's time for closings, which means you get to sum up
Yes.
what the evidence you feel has been presented and what you would like the court to do, and then they'll get a closing as well.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to close by saying that I wanted to see them make it, and at no time did I defraud them or do them wrong in any way. My mother left me in charge. My father left me in charge because I was responsible. And as it relates to, I kept the property up, mowed the yard, and even my neighbors, because there was one lot together. But they even destroyed the roller tilled the grass, which didn't need it. They tore up some landscaping, which didn't need it. I mean, it was beautiful landscaping. What my mother liked it, they tore that out from around the tree. But like I say, Your Honor, I'm just here on the facts, and the facts is, at this point, Your Honor, they could not and would not talk to me because I'm a Taylor, maybe, and they're Williams. I don't know. Like I said, it's like a Hatfield and McCoy. I'm a Taylor, they're Williams. They all listen to them. Even my nieces, they listen to them. And I've always been there for them. Been there financially, support. I've been there, and none of them talk to me. They'll call and say, "Hey, don't talk to him." And I've been everything there for them. Since day one, Mom said, "Son, we have the love song," and I've been there for them. Found them jobs. Mr. Robert Williams found them jobs. We on the oath. Let's be truthful. Come clean. Found the work and failed to even pay out of that. Nothing. Call me. Hey, the tire fell off the rim, or the transmission dropped out the vehicle, and I'm out of work. Something. But I got zero, Your Honor. Going on 2 years. My mother's been gone 7 years. It's a fast world out there. Get out there, do something. And that's all. I know I'm not a fool as a client, but I'm hearing the facts, and it's a painful fact. And so I've qualified for the loan to do. The lady said, "Look, Mr. Taylor, just take out what you need and give the rest back." And they done gone up a couple of times on the interest rate, Federal Reserve. So I would have been stuck. with monthly payments. I'm so glad, Your Honor. I'm so glad that I didn't get that loan for repairs because I've been stuck. And I'm so glad. I'm glad. But I'm able, but at this point, I want them to move forward in life, you know, and I like to see them, you know, give them 30 days to do something, you know. All they had to do was just call me and talk. Let's talk, brother. They hated me so much they couldn't even call me. Any normal person, the biggest no-brainer in American history of mankind, would call me. And I couldn't even get that. I'm done, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any final closing?
Yes, Your Honor. Before I move into my closing, I do want to say that I recognize that this is a tense family relationship, and I am so sorry for what he's gone through. And it's hard when you're working with families, so we recognize that. But I will say procedurally, unfortunately, the court cannot find for the plaintiff at this time for two reasons. First, the notice is defective. It overstates the amount owed by $2,100 each. There are two notices to pay rent or quit, and they're both overstating. The second reason is that Carlos Taylor is the trustee for the trust that owns the property. And so for Mr. Taylor to represent the interests of the 6 beneficiaries in court is the unauthorized practice of law and is improper. So for those two reasons, the court cannot find in favor of the plaintiff at this time. To be a bit more specific, I just want to clarify that from my client's testimony, it's clear that they were tenants at will. You know, this is a big family. It's a big family mess, you know, and it happens, but they are very clearly tenants at will. Mr. Taylor even said that when Rodney first moved in, he didn't know about it, but he found out shortly after, and he was fine with it. That's one of the elements for a tenancy at will, to move in with the landlord's permission, and they had that. Robert Williams moved in when his mother wasn't doing well. There was never an agreement to pay rent. There was a side agreement to pay for the roof, you know, but that's an agreement between brothers. That wasn't an agreement to pay rent. And I think that the specific determinative fact is the fact that the consideration, the exchange, was not to live in the house, but it was to pay for the roof. So this is a separate side agreement. This was not a lease agreement. So again, to summarize, you know, Rodney Williams and Robert Williams were tenants at will. They owed $0 in rent. And for that reason, Mr. Taylor cannot evict them based on a 3-day notice to pay rent. For that reason, we're requesting that the court enter judgment in favor of defendants. But if for some reason the court cannot do that at this time, in the alternative, we're requesting a continuance because, like I said, it's improper for Mr. Taylor to represent the interests of the beneficiaries without an attorney. And that's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any last words?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much. And this is what the old is. And I didn't go all the way back. I just, you know, just do something, went back enough. They could pay $1,000 to $2,500. I didn't go all the way back. When they moved in with my mother, they didn't pay her a dime. They lived there for free. But it's a different landscape now. I explained that to them. Different landscape. You got to pay in life. You can't just go around twiddling your toes living free. Somebody's got to pay the mortgage. I mean, the property tax. These things have to be water and sewer, and they'll attach it. The water and sewer will be attached to the property taxes. Here's water and sewer right here, $500. I have $500, $560 on the water and sewer. 4 months behind. I like to sleep at night. Let's pay, John. And my Ursel, my brother, he pays, tries to help, do what he can. And the reason they're not here today because they know that's the other brother I look out for them, and this right is right. And these are facts, you know. And I just, you know, I want to see them make it. You know, and it's tough out there. And, you know, inflation high, rents are high. Getting an eviction, I mean, that's high. You know, I had to talk, you know, with them. That's all I got to say.
All right. So let me explain a little bit about the law. And I just did this last week as well. When you have, so you're not the actual owner, so you can't actually bring the complaint. The actual owner is the trust. So the trust has to bring the complaint of unlawful detainer. And when the trust is the plaintiff, there has to be an attorney. The attorney has to be the one that represents the trust. Even if you had a power of attorney, power of attorney allows you to hire a lawyer to bring a lawsuit. It's a very confusing area of the law. So we all feel like, that even attorneys, we're all kind of spinning this in our head. What does this really mean? So, and I've been a lawyer a long time. So you can't bring this case without the lawyer. So my question to you is this: do you want to hire a lawyer to bring an action?
I have a lawyer. I'll bring a different action. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do today, because I don't really have the ability to even decide this case because you can't present it. So I was kind of feeling it out and letting you all see what was going on here today. But so since you don't intend to get a lawyer, because what you could do is get a lawyer to represent the trust and this case could go forward. But since you're not going to do that, which is fine. What I'm going to do is dismiss this case. All right. Due to you're not the proper plaintiff. Okay. Yeah. You don't have standing to bring the case, so I'm going to dismiss the case. With that said, and as just kind of a point of, this is all very confusing stuff. The trust now owns the property and so on. But what I would recommend is, as a person who sees and feels this family dynamic and nice big family, that's really wonderful. Work together, because what can happen now is, and this is out of his hands, if the property gets into such a state that it falls down, it gets, the city says, look, you've got to fix all this or we're going to condemn it. I don't know what state the property is in, but a property that's not maintained often, particularly if a roof's not maintained, deteriorates, rots, whatever. So it's in everybody's best interest, because I see there are many beneficiaries to this property. Work together to either get it ready to go to sale or get it fixed up so that it's nice, because it's everybody's property, it looks like, from the trust. And you want to honor each other, not just the two of you living there, but honor everybody else who has been named by your beautiful mother. And God bless for all of that. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Family comes first. Do your best to work together to make this either a really nice property for sale or just a really nice property to live in, and then figure out how to help pay for it, property taxes, water, garbage, sewage, all that sort of thing that a property needs to do. All right, that's my recommendation, and I wish you all the best, and life is short, so let's work together.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And then I am appearing on 2 other matters.
All right.
I'm just requesting a 1-week continuance for both of those. So
Okay.
Could we do that?
Yes, we can. Yeah, you want to continue them to Friday or a week from Friday?
A 1-week continuance.
All right.
What was it?
Is that the Casa de Sol one?
Yes.
All right. We'll get everybody sworn in. Who's going to testify?
I'm not supposed to sit next to me, are you? I'm on this side. Oh,
You're Ms. McNulty.
I am.
You're Ms. Multi. Okay, stay there. All right, and you're Ms. Ramsey.
And
Okay.
what is this doing here?
It's for you.
Oh, thank you. Your Honor, before we start, I'm very ill, and she has brought in my best friend, used to be my best friend, to turn her back. The whole thing is getting too big. Can we postpone it so I can leave? You can come to the bench and tell you why.
Okay, so I can't postpone it unless you are physically unable to stay.
I'm really sick.
Okay. Nope, you can't come. No, you can't.
Your Honor, right now I have a brain tumor and I've lost my eye. And the gap is well fixed, but what's happening now is that I'll be extending pain in the lower back. I've got a kidney failure too. So, and this is not going to be, they're not going to come into it because they're not involved. Which I'm just talking about money.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm not gonna go into she said, I'm not having Jared Springer show on my, in my court date. Oh, in my courtroom. Sorry, Your Honor. Your courtroom.
All right, so, this does appear to be a failure to pay rent case. That's that's really all we're gonna address today.
Here's the receipts.
Okay, all right, so let me get everybody sworn in.
All right.
Since she's not feeling good, let's just stick to the fact of the 3-day notice to pay rent or quit. All right.
Anybody who's going to testify, please raise your hand. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in the cause before this
Ms. McDonald. Yeah, there you go. All right, so as you probably noticed from watching, we'll start with Ms. Ramsey.
Okay.
And we're addressing the 3-day notice to pay rent or quit.
Okay.
And whatever you need to present for that, that's for you. And then I'll go to Ms. McNulty to show that she's paid or not paid. And then we'll come back to you.
Okay. So do you have the binder?
I have the binder.
Okay. So I'll be brief, Your Honor. The first 4 pages are a line summary of her accepting the property on August 31st. And then it runs through to today. On page 4, it ends. So that's a line item of just the highlights of events that have happened.
Okay.
Okay. And then the following 2 pages are just the financial pullouts from those 4. So the following 2 are just the money.
Okay.
Okay. So, and every line item, if for evidence, is followed. So if you want to see line 13, you would look for number 13. They're in order by number.
All right.
So they are checks, canceled checks, receipts, Zelle from the bank, whatever. Okay, so Judy was our mutual friend who connected us for 20 years. She's been a mutual friend.
Okay.
I object. That shouldn't have anything to do. They're going to pull them in, Your Honor, and I can't sit that long, and I can't have a big cat fight going on.
I know, and we're definitely gonna avoid that.
Brief.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. I've included the previous tenant's lease, which matches George's lease. It was a $2,000 security deposit. She had 1 dog. The lease, it says the dog will be potty off property. I've never allowed a smoker onto my
She's
property.
going off center again. I
No,
object.
let's just let her go, or
She's
you are
gonna,
gonna be
and
sitting
I'm
over-
going to be vomiting all over the place. Your Honor, I can't do this. This is too much for me mentally.
I understand.
George, I'm going to be 3 minutes.
You don't need
Okay.
to go through
So,
all the little stuff
I
I
allowed her to move on to the property because of the mutual friendship of 20 years. We did a doggy door. We put in a new floor. They agreed not to smoke out in the backyard. Kirk built a doggy door that went right only into the side of the cottage.
Sure.
So,
But let me focus you.
yes,
So how much is the rent per month?
1,800.
That's
You
per the
have-
lease agreement.
Correct.
All right.
And you have she refused to sign the lease. I have a contract by performance. I have a copy of the check dated October 4th, drawn on her Wells Fargo rent account. In the memo, it says rent. Do you need the line item?
Now let me get to the agreement here.
Okay.
This is
Yes.
what you were. All right.
Then there's a page that shows all of her Zelle payments to me. November 4th, 1,800. December 3rd, 1,800. January, she paid 1,600. She did -2. First she said it was for medical. Then she said it was for locks and something else. February, no rent. On March 11th and February 4th, I gave her 30-day notice. And then she didn't perform on that. And so then March 11th, she paid $1,400 as I was driving to Davis to give her 3-day notice to pay her.
Stop. I
And
object.
she paid $1,400 on that day.
Okay.
So on line item, the 3-day notice is in there, the 30-day
I got
notice is in there. So bottom line, if you go to page 2 of just the financial accounting,
Sure.
it shows you,
She has not paid, she's been there going on 7 months now. She has not paid a penny towards utilities. Page 1 of her lease says she agrees to pay 1/5 of utilities. Because she keeps her back door open, her dogs are pottying in the backyard. They're not using the doggy door. They're not using the dog run.
All right, but let me stop you now.
Okay,
Because here's the thing.
okay,
Unlawful detainers are very specific.
correct.
All right. Your notice is for rent
Rent.
only.
I know,
So
that's the only one you can do.
it's so I'm not gonna
Okay.
go after utilities
Uh,
or anything else. It's
All right.
just literally so the rent is 1,800. You have designated here in October. Actually, the rent in October was 1,683. Correct?
Yes, I split it halfway because the person putting in the floor she requested finished on October 2nd. So I started her lease October 3rd.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. So you prorated. That was what the law requires. All right. So she paid that. January it's 1,800, but she only paid 1,600. February 1,800, but she didn't pay any, and then March 1,800, but she only paid 1,400. So total from your 3-day notice is 4,083.
Correct.
All right. Now, Ms. McNulty, have you paid? Did you pay the 4,083 within the 3-day notice to pay rent or quit?
I never got a 3-day notice, Your Honor. There was never a lease written. The deal was made via telephone, verbally, and it was at $1,800 a month, and I did not move in there till December 1st. Or either the end of November or the beginning of December, but I paid rent, and I have all the copies here. They're to Robin Ramsey, $1,800.
Let me see your receipts for the rent.
It's all right there. No, I'm not going to this. This is just ridiculous.
All right.
It's a simple thing. Rather than take the friendships and make them worse, don't do that. Probably.
And details. All right. All right, so I see October 4th on here, bill pay Robin Ramsey Mobile, 1,800.
Never received. Wells Fargo canceled it.
How come?
That's a paper.
The only payments I have received from Georgia are listed. She only paid me by Zelle. She canceled those payments. The money went from PayPal. I don't have a PayPal account.
Okay.
So the only payments I ever received from her are Zelle. She issued 2 checks. You have copies of them from her Wells Fargo account. She canceled both of them. One was dated October 4th,
I object.
1,800.
I object.
One is
You are not
one-
telling the truth.
one
You
is
are under honor.
Miss McNulty, you wait.
Okay.
You wait, or I won't hear from you at all.
Okay.
One is dated December 6th, but she paid by Zelle on December 2nd.
Okay, so I see a Zelle of November 3rd. I see
Correct.
a Zelle of December 2nd,
January 2nd and March 11th.
and I see a Zelle of
One page shows them all.
1,600. You have them all. Now, my understanding with Zelle is you can't take that money back. Once it's
She's paying me through Zelle.
right. So once that gets released to you, she can't take that money back.
It was a check.
As far as I know.
No, it wasn't.
Zelle is just, you
Yeah.
just put in the person's phone number and or email, and it goes from that bank to your bank.
Right.
That's all.
So there's no canceling it, right?
Correct.
Okay. So it looks like the Zelle to Robin on 11/3. All right, you said she paid in November. What am I doing here? Okay. And you're not, so I'm skipping to January then. Okay. I hear you. All right. So you're not disputing she paid November and December. Then January, you said she paid 1,600. Yes,
200.
correct. All right.
March, she showed 400, and she's paid nothing for April,
Okay.
and she never paid for October.
No, I was not there.
All right. So March, she paid how much?
1,400.
Okay.
And could I ask the court, Your Honor? She asked me to loan her 1,000 to pay the movers when she was moving on the 12th of October.
Well, let me stop you because I got to focus on the law.
Okay.
All right. So March 11th, the 3-day notice to pay renter quit was sent out.
It was posted on her door with bright green tape.
All right. Was
There's a
that
picture of it.
was that before or after you received the 1,400?
After.
Okay. All right. All right. And then did you receive any money by March 14th?
No,
Okay.
I have not received any money since March 11th.
Okay. And I see you gave her credit in that March 11th
Correct.
for the 1,400 sheet you received. Okay. All right. That you both seem to be on the same page. That's what's due and owing, the 4,083.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I don't owe that money. First off, it was the agreement. What happened was I was living in Sun City, Roseville, to make it as quick as possible. My realtor applied for COVID under my name and stole $10,000 from me. I went to court twice. I did it myself. Judy, who was my best friend, and Robin have been friends. I knew Robin. She's an acquaintance. I mean, I met her at a party or whatever. And Robin offered for me. She said, "Oh, I have a beautiful, and it is cute as anything cottage, but it really is a garage." And she offered to let me come with my dog and not pay her first or last or anything. Judy was there and we said, "Gee, isn't that nice of Robin?" And it is nice. She didn't have to do that. And so I want to say thank you for that. And then I want to say to you, I'm sorry it didn't work out. Your Honor, I want to leave.
Okay.
I don't have the money, but I'm very sick and I just want to get out of here and get. Anyway, I don't owe her any money. I didn't pay for April because I'm evicted and I'm angry at her. The house has the wall heater doesn't work. It is an old garage is what it is that they added again. It's cute. I mean, it's got a kitchen and a bathroom. But it's so cold that I have had to sleep with my dogs in the corner. I just have a small heater. She does not go out there at all. She came after I turned her in to the PG&E because wires are sticking out of the wall. I had one burner on the stove worked. There's mold all on the outside. I have pictures. I decided not to do this. I decided not to play this game. And I've got bigger fish to fry. So at any rate, I do not owe her a dime, not one red nickel, other than I do feel that I owe her for this April here. But I want you to decide, or somebody to decide how much I owe her, because it's honorable to pay it. But the other things have been paid. Do not do that again.
All right, Ms. McNulty. Okay.
I know.
So I've heard the evidence, and I'm just gonna because this is getting too heated and we're getting off. I know this law backwards and forwards. I can tell you that much right now. So, and the law is very clear and very strict. So, you serve the 3-day notice to pay rent or quit. If you didn't pay it, you have proven today the amount is owed. She hasn't paid it. So I am going to find in favor of the plaintiff. Defendant owes back rent of $4,083.
Your Honor, how could I owe her that if I paid it on Zelle?
You didn't show that you paid. You showed the stuff that she gave you credit for. So she gave you credit for what you actually did pay.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Then that's all correct. Where did the $4,000 come in?
Well, because you didn't pay it October, You didn't
No, I wasn't
pay,
seeing another lady living there, Your Honor.
you didn't pay February, and, you haven't paid all of March. So
Okay.
that's what I'm working on here. All right.
I'm not gonna fight about one thing.
Okay, so we're on the 18th. All right, and the holdover damages are 1,080. So we got 4,083 holdover damages of 1,080. And so the total is 5,163, and the filing fee.
So you don't go by 1,800 for April, you do the daily?
Yes,
Okay.
because we're only at April 18th,
Gotcha.
and I can only go to today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor.
So that's what I did there. All right, and so then the filing fee,
Sheriff's Board.
225.
Mine was 240, the receipt's in there.
240. Okay.
Um,
All right, so the cost is, so now what happens next is, you want to mark that? Okay, and these are defendants. What happens next is, a judgment needs to be prepared.
Okay.
You can go to the self-help center, they're on the second floor.
Okay.
And they'll take our minute order that, my clerk is preparing, and they'll prepare the judgment. And then it's time to move.
Well, Your Honor, I have been so cold. I want to move.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Can I go?
Yes, you can. Absolutely go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Take care of yourself.
And, thank you, Your Honor. Is there any recourse that I have for, because right now I'm at a loss of 13,674. Do I have any recourse for utilities or?
So that is something, very good question for the self-help center as well.
Okay,
So when you're asking to prepare the judgment,
okay,
ask them what procedures or opportunities you have to recoup any other damages that you might have.
okay,
Unlawful detainer is
Only
specific
rent.
to,
okay,
not paying the rent.
okay.
And then other damages can be recouped in another way.
Thank you so much.
You bet. All right.
What? They'll tell me on the paper, on the judgment, it'll say when she has to leave. And can
So
we
the
just?
way it works from here,
Yeah, I got
if you
you.
get a judgment,
Okay.
right? So without a judgment, nothing more happens.
I'm
So
gonna
you
go get it now.
get that, and then they can issue, the court can issue a writ of possession.
Okay.
That is what helps people move out. All right.
They take the writ to the sheriff's office?
Take the writ to the
Okay.
sheriff. The sheriff then posts.
Okay,
They usually give a return date of 5 to 7 days.
fantastic.
I'm not with the sheriff's department. This is my general understanding. They'll be very specific with you.
Thank you.
And then if she hasn't moved out, they literally move the person out onto the street.
Do they walk them out or do they get arrested for trespassing?
Nope, they allow them to walk out,
They walk out.
but then
okay.
they have you
Lock-
lock the
They'll
door,
change the locks.
and anything left behind, you would have to hold for her and
For 2
figure out
weeks.
how to, So, and any other questions you have about this whole process, the self-help
them.
center.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we just say something personal? We really liked listening to you. You were very simple and straightforward. I was listening to the other cases. It was very interesting. Very good.
Thank you.
So,
All
just as commentary after the fact.
You get 4 stars.
Take care.
Good job. Take care.
We can return it. Yeah, we can return it.
I made a copy for her. I have a copy for me.
Well, we'll probably just, if you don't retrieve it in 30 days, we dispose of it, right?
That's only small things.
Oh, okay. So are we supposed to hold it?